to another ASMR video on my channel. Today we are gonna take a look, or we're gonna listen to the original documents that created or cemented the legend of Santa Claus. I have the original 19th century poems and stories, and I'm gonna read them to you. Sit back, lay down, close your eyes, and listen to them with this relaxed, soft-spoken voice. The first text is the first mention of St. Nicholas as an agent of good for Christmas. We may call him that. And it's from 1810. And it's a pamphlet. And the text says, St. Nicholas, good holy man, put on the tabard best you can. Go glad therewith to Amsterdam, from Amsterdam to his Spain, where apples bride of Orange, and likewise those grenades surnamed roll through the streets, all free unclaimed. St. Nicholas, my dear good friend, to serve you ever was my end. If you will now me something give, I'll serve you ever while I live. So that's the first mention of St. Nicholas. Then we go to 1821 with a poem called Old Santa Claus. And this is the first time that we actually hear the name Santa Claus. And it gives us a lot more story about him. So it says, Old Santa Claus, with much delight, his reindeer drives this frosty night, o'er chimney tops and tracts of snow, to bring his yearly gifts to you. The steady friend of virtuous youth, the friend of duty and of truth, each Christmas Eve he joys to come, where love and peace have made their home. Through many houses he has been, and various beds and stockings seen, some white as snow and neatly mended, others that seemed for pigs intended. Where I found good girls or boys that hated quarrels, strife, and noise, I left an apple or a tart, or wooden gun, or painted card. To some I gave a pretty doll, to some a bagtop or a ball. No crackers, cannons, squibs, or rockets, to blow their eyes up or their pockets. No drums to stun their mother's ears, nor swords to make their sisters fear, but pretty books to store their mind with knowledge of each various kind. But where I found the children naughty, in manners rude, in temper haughty, thankless to parents, liars, sweaters, boxes or cheats, or base tale betters, I left alone black birchen rod, such as the dread command of God, directs a parent's hand to use, when virtue's path his sons refuse. Then we go to a classical poem where we have all heard Santa Claus, which is the poem called A Visit from Saint Nick, or Saint Nicholas. The one that stars, it was the night before Christmas. That is from (1823). So here it goes. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a lustre of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes did appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick. I knew in a moment he must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles his courses they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen. To the top of the birch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As leaves that before the wall hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his back. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as wide as the snow. The stump of a pipe had held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laid his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Now we go to a story from 1849 called A Christmas Legend. This one was written by James Reese, and this is the first time that we hear of Mrs. Claus. This is a very long story, I think, but let's read it. So it says, this is not a poem, this is prose. And it goes like this. It was Christmas Eve. Around a cheerless fire in humble dwelling were seated 4 persons, a man, his wife, and 2 children. The age of the one, a boy, was about 10, that of the other, a girl, 7. They were looking up from their stools to their parents, whose conversation they had been listening to with some attention, and anxiously awaiting for an opportunity to speak upon a subject in which their hearts were much interested. Christmas Eve is an epoch of life, of youth. They look forward to its approach with all those pleasant anticipations ever attendant on boyhood, and to the fulfillment of those joyous dreams which picture that happy event in all the gorgeous colors of youthful fancy. There is a charm in the very sign of Christmas. It comes upon the heart that is careworn like a ray of hope. It sheds upon the pallid cheek of sorrow a beam which illumines the darkest chambers of the soul. It is a day set apart for the great purpose of purifying the moral world and giving to created things a glimpse of that which is eternal. The Sabbath is the holiday of the week, Christmas of the year. Happy they who can meet it with a smile. Happy they who extend to their children the full hand and strew their pathway with the gems their young fancies had conjured up. The hobby horse in the eyes of a little urchin is a mine of wealth. A doll to a smiling-faced girl is a gift whose price, in her estimation, is beyond human computation. There is not one upon whom a parent or friend bestows a testimonial of affection or esteem, but becomes in the eyes of the receiver a prize to be remembered when other and brighter things shall have passed away. The happy moment when the morn breaks upon the holiday and the stocking's treasures are laid before them, in worth, in their estimation, all the promises and bright prospects of the great future. What is a future to the enjoyment of youth who bask in the sunshine of the present? There was a pause in the conversation. The little girl looked up and met the tearful eyes of her pale-cheeked mother. The past had been the subject of their discourse, and the remembrance had filled their hearts with grief. The daughter spoke. "Mother, I have tied my stocking to the big nail near the fireplace. Do you think Kris Kringle will come down the chimney tonight?" "Oh, sister, what nonsense," quickly replied the boy. "How can such a huge figure as he is represented get down our pure chimney?" "That is it, my child. It is because we're poor. Poverty keeps from the humble door all the bright things of the earth, except virtue, truth, and religion. Those are more of heaven than of earth, and are the poor man's friends in his hours of adversity. Then, father, I will take my stocking down. I thought, indeed, mother, I thought that Santa Claus and Kris Kringle loved all those who were good. And have not I been good? I know my lesson. I love you, mother, and my brother dearly, and do whatever I am told. Yes, yes, you are a good girl. Do not take the stocking down. Custom, at least, should be observed, and perhaps thy young heart may not be disappointed. This was uttered with such a sigh, which was responded by the mother, and silence again reigned in that humble dwelling. Yes, muttered the father, this night 7 years ago she disappeared, eloped, and no tidings heard of her since. And these children. Think of it no more, husband. She was an ungrateful child. But this not all. The anniversary of that misfortune heralds in another. Her rent is due tomorrow, and a merciless landlord to deal with. What shall we do? Ungrateful child, yes, so she was. At least in that one set, for up to that period was she not our pride, our comfort? You ask, what shall we do about the rent? Why, do as others have done before us, go to the poorhouse. And that day which has and will give joy to thousands will be to us the gloomiest. And that little girl, that dear creature whose stocking now hangs upon the rusty nail, in expectation of finding therein some pleasing toy, will find in its place a mouldy crust of bread. It is all her father has to give. God be with us, but this is a fearful world. Oh, husband, say not that. The world is deity's work, and are not all created things his creatures? True, it is our lot, then, come what will, let us bear it patiently. Yes, wife, you are right. But I have often thought, and sometimes my thoughts assume strange forms, and the mind conceives strange ideas. There is a fearful mystery in the philosophy of deity, for do we not see the wicked prosper, and the righteous begging bread? Crime dwells in palaces and sits in cushioned pews. It rides in costly vehicles and mocks the cries of the poor for bread, while honest poverty starves. I often think of this, and regret to say, find myself murmuring at the degrees of Providence. Dear husband, what are the future years of life on earth to that which is eternal? If the righteous suffer here, will they not be forever happy there? While wicked and the prosperous men of crime, for his short-lived pleasures on earth, will meet an eternity of woe hereafter. You are my better angel, Gertrude, for this time forth I will never repine. Hark! Someone knocks. See, John, who it is. John opened the door and admitted into the room an old man and woman, both carrying a bundle, evidently otherworldly wealth. The old traveler stood for a moment in the middle of the room, gazing the group before him, then inquired how far they were from the city. 2 miles, was the answer. 2 miles, we will not be able to reach it tonight. My dear wife is nearly tired out. We have traveled far today. Then, sir, travel no further. John, hand chairs. Sit down. That lowly bed is yours for the night. Tomorrow it is the landlord's. Sleep there in peace. Wife, get some bread and cheese for our guests. And John, put some more chips on the fire, for the wind whistles wintry around the house. And is this your family, all your family? Inquired the female traveler in a tremulous voice. No, no, not all. We had one other daughter. Dead, alas, we must all die. Dead to us, my good woman, but not to the world. But let us speak no more of her. Here is some bread and cheese. It is all poverty has to offer, and to it you are heartily welcome. There was another pause. Everyone seemed wrapped up in their own thoughts, and as the wind whistled around the house and shook its old dilapidated windows, they mechanically crept closer to the meager fire. They came upon their ears, in that lonely quiet house, the sound of merry voices, the violin, the tambourine, and the loud jocund laugh broke upon the stillness like some ill-omened messenger. Yet was it Christmas Eve, but from whence came such strains? This question was asked by the traveler. Ah, sir, replied their host, those joyful sounds in which are mingled many a youthful voice proceed from the dwelling of my landlord. He is wealthy, immensely wealthy, and although lavish to extravagance in his own family, he is ever the poor man's foe. Many an inmate of the poorhouse owes his fate to that hard-hearted, cruel man. Even now these very sounds, which should proceed from happy hearts, are forced and intended to mock our poverty. Is it possible? Go to that door, sir. Look out, and you will see that his windows are up, so as the gay sounds may reach our wretched ears. Ah, sir, human nature is a mystery. This is one of its enigmas, and can only be explained when the secrets of all hearts must be made known. Hark, that about, all mockery, all mockery. The morn of Christmas Day was a lovely one. The sun arose bright and beautiful. Its soft beams warmed the chilly air and made a million of young hearts happy. Scarcely had the light broke into that little chamber than the young child stole slyly out of bed and crept softly into the room where slept the two travelers. One looked toward the chimney place, one glance at her stocking was the first idea, and then toward the bed where the old couple lay. They still slept. All was quiet. Her little heart throbbed with high hope. Her dreams have been pleasing ones. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Dolls, toys, and games had danced gaily through her mind during the night. Streaks of light came down through the half-closed shutters, and as she stepped stealthily across the room, objects became more distinct. The fireplace, before all dark, now assumed its natural color, and the stocking, what was that? What object now rivets her gaze that she stands spellbound in the center of the room? Step by step she approached nearer to the place, and to her surprise and astonishment she found not only the stocking full, but on the stool beneath it were many pleasing and delightful toys. Books and candles lay strewn all around. Was it a dream of her youthful fancy? Or was it reality? Her head roamed round, the room seemed full of strange objects. Fairies were dancing on the carpet, elfin sprites seemed whirling their little forms through the room, and as she cast her eyes on the bed, the figures of the two old people had changed, and two pairs of sparkling eyes were gazing on her. Alarmed, astonished, but bent upon the stocking's treasure, she gave one wild scream of joy and fear, caught the treasure in her arms, grasping at the same time the well-filled stool. She rushed wildly from the room. As she passed through the door, a peal of laughter followed, and closing it, she bounded into the sleeping apartment of her parents. In an instant, the house was all alive. The scream awoke her father and mother, and her brother, springing toward her, snatched a box on which was written his own name. He rapped it eagerly, and opening it, found to his surprise that it was filled with handsome bound books and various amusing games and toys. "Oh, father!" exclaimed the delightful Jane. "Kris Kringle has been here. See what he has brought us. Oh, such beautiful toys, such gems of things. I am so happy." And the delighted girl danced and capered about the room, gazing alternately at her little store and her equally astonished parents. The old man muttered something about he suspected them both when they first put food within his door. Having dressed themselves, they descended to the lower room, and making up a fire, the kitchen, which was used as their eating room, soon presented a cheerful and Christmas-like appearance. The coffee was made, the cakes baked, and the poor Press family, who expected to be turned out their house for the non-payment of rent, forgot a while their troubles and their grief. There are moments when the doors of memory are closed, and the bright sunshine of hope makes the future all clear. Sorrow is not eternal. It has its changes, its stops, and its antidote. They come in the moment of trail, and presto, the whole scene of life is variegated with the pleasing colors of fancy. Is it all fancy? Let us see. Now, good wife, knock at the door of our guests. Bid them come forth to our humble meal. They have been kind to our children, and their strange dress and manner, assumed no doubt for purposes of their own, is no business of ours. Call them to breakfast. The wife obeyed, and the door being opened, out came, not the decrepit old man and woman, but a young and lovely couple dressed in fine clothes. Their faces lit up with smiles, and the Merry Christmas was given with a fervor and sincerity to hear which was to feel that it came from the heart. The humble family started and gazed upon their guests. The children crept behind their parents, for their youthful imaginations had already clothed their kind patrons in a supernatural garb. "How is this?" exclaimed the father. "Why these disguises and—" "Hush, sir," exclaimed the laughing couple. "Recollect this is Christmas morn, and we now appear, not as old Santa Claus and his wife, but as we are, the mere actors of this pleasing farce. But say no more. Your coffee smells delicious, these cakes look inviting, and my Amelia is hungry. I know she is." "Amelia," muttered their host and hostess. "Yes, Amelia. Why, how sad you look. Is there anything in this sound calculated to make you feel sad?" No, on the contrary, the name calls up the past, when all was joy, all was happiness. Ah, William, see how you distress these poor people. No more of this." "But, sir," exclaimed their host, "one word, gracious heaven, let me gaze once more on that face. Wife, look up, see, do you not? Am I awake? Father, mother, do you not know your long-lost Amelia?" My child, screamed the mother, and in a moment the daughter was clasped to the breast of her overpowered parent. "Stand back," exclaimed her father, as Emiliano approached him. "Stand back. Let not the crimson blush of shame mantle on thy mother's cheek for taking to her arms lost and abandoned. Away! Leave us to our sorrow. The withered tree cannot revive, though the green tendril should entwine itself once more around it. Its purity is gone. Oh, father, hear me. Speak not, ungrateful girl. That man, that base. Silence, father, wrong him not. He is all truth, all honor. He is thy paramour, girl. No, father, he is my kind and affectionate husband." "Ah, thy husband." In a moment the daughter was clinging to the breast of her father. Then there was joy, and the Christmas morn looked forward to in sorrow became sunshine and happiness. Her story is told. William Sanford had stolen away, like Othello, the old man's daughter, and like him, married her. William had been wild and dissipated, and was forbidden the house. Amelia loved him. They were young and foolish. The world appeared before them all sunshine, a garden of flowers. They looked not for the clouds. They dreamed not of the thorns. Shortly after the elopement, they left America for England. Amelia sent a letter to her father, which it appears he never received. They left friends and home, though not of the misery they had caused, and the sorrowing hearts of those left behind. Reflection in youth is not the reflection of age. The one is the offspring of a day, the other of years. One agitates the surface of the mind, the other maddens the brain. After the arrival in England, Sanford became heir to the large estate. Then it was, after Providence had blessed them with a fine boy, they thought of the best. For parents only feel for parents. The remembrance of a father's kindness, a mother's love, came over Amelia's stream of happiness like a cloud, frowning on her joy and dimming the brightness of her life's sunshine. The heart can never know happiness which closes its doors against a parent's love. Dear mother, can you forgive me? Father, will you bless your Amelia once more? Say no more. All is forgotten. All is forgiven. And my brother too, and dear little sis, God bless me, but I am so happy. To say that we're happy is a word scarcely strong enough. Repentance brings happiness, and the sunshine of religion sheds over the soul that holy ray of light which nothing on earth can ever dim. It is the star of Jehovah fixed eternally in the heart. Did the landlord seize their little furniture? No. Happiness was theirs, and the more cheerful Christmas day could not be imagined that the one passed beneath the humble roof of Robert Paxton. Let my readers reflect on the moral of his sketch. If it creates one throb of pleasure and sympathy for the poor family now made happy, then it is the author fully repaid for his Christmas legend. That was too long. Okay, the last one is Santa Claus and His Works by G.O.P. Webster. And it says, this nice little story for girls and for boys is all about Santa Claus, Christmas, and toys. So gather around me, but speak not a word, for I mean what I say, by you all shall be heard. In a nice little city called Santa Clausville, with its houses and church at the foot of the hill, lives jolly old Santa Claus. Day after day, he works and he whistles the moments away. You must know he's honest and toils for his bread, and is fat and good-natured with nothing to dread. His eyes are not red, but they twinkle and shine, for he never was known to drink brandy or wine. But day after day at his bench he is found, for he works for good children hard all year round. Though busy all day he is happy and sings, such as wagons and horses and dishes and ladles and soldiers and monkeys and little those cradles. With trumpets and drummers, farms, sheep, pigs and cattle, and he makes the popguns and the baby's teen rattle. Then he takes the new dolls that have long curly hair, and setting the table, sits each in a chair. And he makes them pretend they're taking their tea, and he's jolliest fellow you ever did see. And can make a queer codger jump out of a box, or will make with his knife a new parrot or a fox, or sit with his spectacles over his nose, and work all day long making little dolls' clothes, such as dresses and sashes and hats for the head, and nightgowns to wear when they jump into bed, and girders and socks and the tiniest shoes, and lots of nice things such as doll babies use. See, the top of his head is all shining and bare. 'Tis the good men, dear children, who lose all their hair. With many things more, for I cannot tell half, but just look at his picture. I'm sure you will laugh. With his dog standing near him and spyglass in hand, he looks for good children all over the land. His home through the long summer months, you must know, is near the North Pole, in the ice and the snow. And when he sees children at work or at play, the old fellow listens to hear what they say. And if they are gentle and loving and kind, he finds where they live, and he makes up his mind that when Christmas shall come in cold frosty December, to give them a call, he will surely remember. And he's sure to have with him a bundle of toys for the nice little girls and the good little boys. Oh, if you could see him start out with his team, you would doubt your own eyes and would think it a dream. Wrapped up in a bearskin to keep out the cold, and his sleigh covered with jewels and gold, with his deer from the mountains, and all harnessed with care, like race horses prance through the cold winter air. 'Tis fun just to watch them and hear the bells tinkle, and the stars seem to laugh as they look down and twinkle. And the hungry raccoon and the fox, lean and shy, give a wink as they hear him go galloping by. For they know by his looks and the crack of his whip, and his laid out of toys, he's out for a trip. Then the fox steals the farmer's old goose for his dinner, which you know is not right, but the fox is a sinner. And his morals are bad and his habits are loose, for he's never so gay as when stealing a goose. Ah, here's a picture. Oh, children, just look at the names of the good little girls in his book, and a long list of names of the good little boys who never disturb Pa and Ma with their noise. There is Tommy, who tended the baby with care. He had some beautiful books for his share. And Eliza, just think how her bright eyes will tinkle when she looks in her stocking and finds Rip Van Winkle. And Georgie, you know, is a 5-year-old dandy. Won't he trot with his pockets all filled up with candy? There the old fellow stands with a queer, knowing look, till he has in his mind every name in the book. And he would be kind to them all if he could, but he gives his nice presents to none but the good. An army he gives to the boy who is neat, and never cries when he wants something to eat. and a farm to the boy who goes smiling to school, who keeps out of the mud and obeys every rule. And all the good girls will get presents, we know, and the boys who behave will have something to show. When Christmas Eve comes, into bed you must creep, and late in the night, when you all are asleep, he's certain to come, so your stockings prepare, and hang them all close to the chimney with care. And when in the morning you open your eyes, you will meet, I am sure, a most pleasant surprise. And you'll laugh and you'll giggle and call to Mama, and keep up the noise till you waken Papa. And all of this for one morning will be very nice. For the rest of the year, be as quiet as mice. How funny he looks as he stands on the round and gathers the toys that hang far from the ground. He is large round the waist, but what care we for that? 'Tis the good-natured people who always get fat. The grumbling wolf who lies hidden all day, and the fox that at midnight goes out for his prey, and the serpent that hides in the foliage green, are all of them ugly, ill-tempered, and lean. But Santa Claus comes in his queer-looking hat, and we know he's good-humored because he's fat. So when you grow up, I will not have you slim, but large round the waist and good-natured like him. Just think if the ladder should happen to break and he should fall down, what a crash it would make. And that is not all, for besides all the noise, it would frighten the dolls and would damage the toys. I told you his home was up north by the pole. In a palace of ice lives this happy old soul. And the walls are as bright as the diamonds that shone in the cave when Aladdin went in all alone. To look for the lamp, we have often been told, turned iron and lead into silver and gold. His bedstead is made of the ivory white, and he sleeps on a mattress of down every night. For all day long he's working his best, and surely at night the old fellow should rest. He uses no gas, for the glimmering light of the far polar region shines all through the night. Should he need for his breakfast fish or some veal, the sea cows are his, and the whale and the sea. Ugh. Where he lives there is always a cool, pleasant air. Last summer, oh, didn't we wish we were there? He's a funny old chap and quite shy it would seem, for I never but once got a glimpse of his team. 'Twas a bright moonlight night, and it stood in full view, and so you see, it can describe it to you. See, Christmas has come, and he toys like a Turk, and now the old fellow is busy at work. There are presents for Julia and Betty and Jack, and a bundle still left on the old fellow's back. And if every behaves well and don't tear his clothes, and quits teasing the cat, why he will, I suppose, find on Christmas a horse or a gun or a sled, all ready for use when he gets out of bed. But see, he has worked quite enough for tonight. He must fill all the stockings before they slide. With his queer-looking team through the air he will go, and alight on the roof, now all white with the snow, and into the chimney will dart in a trice, when all are asleep, but the cat and the mice. Then we'll fill up the stockings with candy and toys, and all without making the least bit of noise. When the labors of Christmas are over he goes straight home, and he takes a full week for repose. And then when the holiday frolics are over, he goes to his shop and his labors once more, and all the long year with his paints and his glue, he's making new toys, little children for you. So now I must leave you, but stand in a row. Come Julia and Betty and Louie and Joe, and Gracie and Fanny, what are you about? Get ready, I say, for a jolly good shout. Now 3 cheers for Christmas, give them boys with a will. 3 more for the hero of Santa Clausville. We know he's old and bald-headed and fat, but the cleverest chap in the world for all that. And a jollier codger no man ever saw. But goodbye, Merry Christmas, hip hip hurrah. That's it. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you're not awake. I hope you are asleep by now. I love you all. See you.